Some places are more than haunted. They are wounds in the world, where time, tragedy, and terror never fully fade. Soft, distant thunder rolls. A dim corridor flickers. A shadow brushes past the camera. Too quick to be human, across our planet exist places so infamous, so saturated with sorrow, that the air itself seems heavy with the memories trapped inside. These are not ordinary haunted locations. No. These are the places where history refuses to stay buried. A faint whisper echoes. A door creaks open by itself. Here, footsteps echo down empty hallways. Lights turn on in locked rooms. And entire walls seem to breathe, like the building itself is alive, remembering, waiting. Heartbeat sound rises. Some say these places are cursed. Some say they are gateways, thin cracks between our world and something darker. But those who've stepped inside all agree on one thing: once you enter, you don't leave the same. Thunder crashes. A silhouette appears at the end of a hallway. Tonight, we uncover the forgotten tragedies, chilling legends, and real encounters behind the world's most haunted places, stories buried deep beneath dust, time, and fear. Tonight, we're descending into the shadows to uncover the dark secrets behind famous haunted places. But what you're about to witness isn't just a tour of ghost stories. It's a journey into the hidden wounds of history, the silent halls where screams were never heard, the rooms where time stopped, and the corridors where tragedy was stitched into the walls themselves. Camera pans slowly over a rusted asylum gate swinging on its own. Every haunted place you've ever heard of didn't become terrifying by accident. These locations carry real stories, stories of betrayal, violence, heartbreak, madness, stories the world tried to forget, but the buildings refused to let go. Thunder rumbles. A broken window slams shut despite no wind. Somewhere beneath the dust and decay lie secrets covered up by governments, whispers of experiments, disappearances, and unexplained deaths, enigmas so disturbing that even today, locals won't go near these sites after dark. A shadow crosses a castle corridor. A door creaks open, slowly. So before we begin, take a breath, steady your nerves, because once we uncover what really happened in these places, you may never look at the world's most famous landmarks the same way again. Because behind every haunted place, there is a reason the dead refuse to leave. A reason buried in the walls, etched into the floors, and whispered through the cold breath of the night. Camera glides deeper through the broken window, entering a silent, untouched room. Moonlight flickers as if something just moved across it. Some spirits linger out of grief, some out of rage, and some because their story was never finished. A curtain rustles without wind. A faint silhouette appears for a split second at the corner of the frame. These places aren't just haunted, they're holding on to what the world refused to remember. And tonight, we're going to find out why. Some carry the weight of ancient curses. Curses born long before cities rose, whispered in forgotten languages, carved into stone by trembling hands. Places where rituals went wrong, where offerings were made, and where the earth itself seems to breathe with something old and hungry. Cut to a stone altar stained by centuries, a torch flickers, shadows twist unnaturally. Some were prisons of suffering, walls that absorbed every scream, every tear, every desperate plea that was never answered. Hospitals where patients were abandoned, asylums where the helpless were silenced, cells where hope died long before the people inside did. Slow tracking shot through rusted metal bars, peeling paint, and a faint cry echoing down a hallway that should be empty. Some witnessed unspeakable crimes. Moments so violent, so cruel, that the air still feels heavy with the memory. Blood spilled where it should never have been spilled. Families destroyed behind closed doors, and secrets buried so deep even the living avert their eyes. A dim lantern flickers as a shadow crosses the corridor, but no one is there. And some were never meant for the living. Places that repel daylight. Places untouched by time, untouched by warmth, where nature refuses to grow. Gateways, some say, thin places where the veil is weakest, where something watches from the other side. Camera pans slowly across fog-covered ground, a silhouette silently standing where no human footprints lead. Visitors report shadow figures watching from hallways. Not quick glimpses, not tricks of the light, but tall, silent silhouettes that remain perfectly still, as if studying anyone who dares to enter. A dim corridor appears, barely lit. A figure stands at the far end. The camera blinks, and it's suddenly closer. Others hear voices calling their names, soft at first, like a distant echo, then growing clearer, sharper, until the whisper feels like it's right beside their ear. Cut to a close-up of a shivering visitor. A faint voice says their name, but no one is behind them. And objects moving on their own, chairs scraping across floors in empty rooms, doors locking themselves, and small items vanishing, only to reappear in places no human hand could reach. A toy rolls slowly across the floor, stopping at the feet of the cameraman, with no one else in the room. These are not legends. Not campfire tales. Not stories invented to scare children. Screen flashes old black and white police photos, grainy camcorder footage, thermal imaging clips. These are eyewitness accounts, many documented in official reports, many captured on audio and video, and none, not a single one, fully explained. The audio distorts. A shadow moves behind the narrator's voice track, yet no one was there during recording. Governments have sealed files. Locked away in archives, hidden behind classification stamps, and buried under decades of silence. Reports of unexplained deaths, military encounters with the unknown, and entire investigation teams who vanished without leaving a single footprint. Files that officials refuse to comment on, because the truth inside them is far more terrifying than any ghost story. Cut to a dusty file cabinet. A stamped folder reads, "Restricted, do not release." A page turns on its own. Caretakers avoid certain rooms. These are people who have spent their entire lives around old buildings, yet even they refuse to cross certain thresholds after sunset. Rooms where lights flicker violently the moment someone enters, where cold spots linger like invisible figures standing in wait, and where footsteps can be heard pacing in circles, long after the building has been emptied. Scene shifts to a caretaker holding keys, but stopping at a doorway. He shakes his head. Not this room. Never at night. And paranormal investigators, after one terrifying night, refuse to ever return. Not because of what they saw, but because of what followed them home. Whispers in their houses, objects falling from shelves, the constant feeling of being watched, and nightmares so vivid they woke up screaming. A blurred clip shows an investigator trembling during an interview. "I don't care what anyone says, something left with us that night. Tonight, we uncover what they won't tell you." The stories locked behind government vaults, sealed in confidential reports, and whispered only by those who've seen what should never be seen. Camera glides over classified files, redacted documents, old photographs with faces scratched out. The truths buried under decades of silence, hidden beneath collapsed walls, behind boarded doors, and inside ancient ruins where even historians fear to dig. Truths so disturbing that entire institutions were built just to keep them quiet. A montage of dusty archives, abandoned corridors, flickering security footage, and the dark secrets behind the world's most haunted places. Places where tragedy stained the ground, where curses took root, where souls never found peace. These aren't just haunted locations, they are crossroads, between the living and whatever lies beyond. Camera slowly approaches an old, decaying mansion. A light flickers inside even though the house has no electricity. Tonight, we go where others refuse to go. We dare to look into the shadows, and discover the horror that history tried to erase.